Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for some more NECC action. We've got another exciting matchup for you here tonight. Moving up a division into Division 2 for University of Southern Mississippi versus Boise State Orange. Both these teams coming off kind of a struggle in the preseason. One of these teams picking up a win in week 1, and the other one still floundering, looking for a little bit of momentum. I am going to be your color again. My name is Lars Newt. Joining me once again here in the casting booth is Hyferia. Hyferia, right off the bat, University of Southern Mississippi or Boise State Orange. What's your prediction? Because we didn't get to it last time.
Ooh, an instant prediction. Honestly, there's not really a lot to go off of here. Obviously, in the previous one, it was quite clearly with the preseason and everything who was on paper the better one. Here, that's not the case. They both have close results or decent results, at least in the preseason. And then, well, Somis did lose the first week, 2-3, incredibly close against St. Ambrose. And Boise State, they won 3-1 against Fresno State Red. I don't know. It's the second team of Boise State, and always with second teams, I feel like they always get that experience from the first team kind of integrated as well. So my bet is going to be on Boise State. Honestly, not really based on a lot.
Well, I like your logic there of when teams are bringing lots of high-profile players to the match. You know that they're getting a lot of that inside practice, those in-house scrims that are so useful and so great for improving everybody as a whole, not just one team or the other. Gets lots of good mix and match there, and you can allow each other to train back and forth. I actually was a boxer in college, and there was one particular school who I won't mention who had a ton of in-house boxers, and they tended to dominate the boxing scene because they got all that in-house experience. So I like your prediction of Boise State Orange, but I'm going to go ahead and go with Miss. Just to be a contrarian here, they did have that very, very close matchup versus St. Ambrose. They had kind of a tough preseason. They swept Concordia, Nebraska, and they dropped 2 series in sweeps. But tougher teams preseason, it's going to be an interesting matchup. But the only way to find out, like we said in that last series, is to put these teams on the field and see who comes out the victor. Speaking of which, though, is the other way you would find out is maybe if they played each other before. And in the state of Boise, in the circumstances of Boise State Orange, Fresno State Red was one of their victories in the preseason and a 3-1 victory. And week number 1 of the regular season, Fresno State Red in a 3-1 victory. So maybe a little bit of experience getting to come off that same team 2 in a row. Maybe they got an easier preseason. Who knows?
This shows to me that they've got at least a little bit of consistency, beating them in the same capacity, 3-1. Let's hope this time we don't have some scrambling going off from the get-go and we need to do a gentleman's agreement to return a goal and everything like that. Let's just hope we can get it clear-cut, everybody indirectly. A great match from the start. I'm expecting a lot. We're going up a division, and we already saw some very good mechanics coming out in the previous game. I'm only looking to extend that and to see whether they might actually be able to pull off some insane plays.
Well, what do you think is going to be the deciding factor in this series? I know in the last series we talked a bit about how the mechanical disparity between those two teams led to be kind of a factor, but how team play was really the decider, and that speed and aggression, that ability to manage spacing on the field in favor of Bryant was the thing that allowed them to take command. What here in this Div 2 series is going to be the key to taking up victory?
I'm always a man who likes to say brains over mechanics. So good positioning, smart positioning, making sure you fill the gaps. So we're going to have to see that right now, because obviously we can waffle all we want. We can say whatever we want. It all needs to come down on the battlefield, on this Rocket League pitch. It all needs to go down, and Toxic is starting us off with a demo circuit, trying to close that distance very quickly. 0 boost in the tank. That's going to give him a very long recovery, but on the armor, he's going into Toxic, and Toxic, he's going into the back of the net, and the explosive start coming out from BSU.
Lots of quick starts here tonight. 17 seconds in. Nice little bit of air roll there to put a little bit of flash on that easy touch home over the top. It's a great way to get that ball to the net. Attack from the corner, get that one out in front. I talked a lot about going to the back wall. You can get a lot of advantage not going to that back wall. Getting that through the midfield opens up the net very nicely. And we see it here as, Toxic picks up the first of the match.
And we already could see some micro mistakes coming out. Esper, he had 12 boosts left in the tank. He knew he wasn't going to reach that ball. He still used his boost, thus slowing down the recovery. And those tiny things are going to make the difference in Thunderama. I mean, I guess it didn't really make a difference on this play. He just forces it through. It's a little bit of an awkward double commit here, but that's still a 2-goal lead.
That's a nice pass to the midfield by Toxic there. It's not something you typically expect to see out of players. You expect them to kind of drive upfield with every single touch bear. But Toxic, straight across the field, puts that one straight into the wall to pop it right back out and give that advantage to their teammate in the midfield. We're just seeing a lot of great ways to attack the front of the net, and that's so critical here is getting the ball into the shooting lane for a teammate to finish off.
Somebody needs to be there, and that's always the thing with passing plays. Everybody on the play needs to be perfect. Now Leighton trying to get that to the other side. Can't really get a follow-up. Actually, no, he can. He can't get that to the center where Esper is, and he's able to get that into the back of the net. Good team play, but Leighton, he got way too much time here.
Yeah, Leighton able to touch that one home, and Esper able to tuck that into that nice corner. It wasn't a bad position from Thunderama. As you know, that back post is very advantageous in most defensive scenarios, but if you have a team that can find that far post from the defender, it's almost impossible to get there within time. Now, cutting that lead in half, it's a good look off the bat here. Can they find a way to finish it off?
Oh my word, I was incredibly scared for a second. I heard the mic and I was like, no, please no. We're all good, we're all fine in Thunderama. He passes that to Toxic, great pass. Can he get the extension as well? This touch might not be the worst one, as Toxic actually is able to try and give Rip a shot. They get shut down incredibly early. This is not really the greatest pass because there's none of his teammates there. It is an opponent. Leighton, he passes it to Esper, who could rip a shot. Saved by Circle, and Toxic trying to go the other end. Toxic is already looking at like a very attacking-minded player on the side of Boise. Van Apple back into the corner. He doesn't have any boost, and Toxic, great recognition, gets that sensor. Leighton clears that out, but it's not really the greatest clear. Bad Apple, that's also not the greatest clear. The circuit to the backboard. Thunderama coming in for a shot, blocked by Bad Apple, and they're holding on to this defense for now.
Doing a good job of keeping that ball clear of the shooting lane, like I mentioned earlier, keeping it away from the attack, and there's one back into the mid. A great read off the back wall, taking advantage of an awkward rotation on the side of BSU here, and able to finish this one off. Tie this one back up before halfway into this game, and we're set for quite the matchup.
Yeah, phenomenal stuff coming out from SoMIS. They really were on the defense pretty much the entire time, and then managed to break out, convert relatively quickly as well. So on the side of Boise, they need to convert more. They need to turn that pressure into opportunities, into scoring, goals being scored. Thunderama, that was basically an open net off to the side. And Toxic, he's going to look whether he can make that into a scoring opportunity. We know Circuit into the center. Van Apple, the strategy of just sitting on the goal line and defending it out is proven to be working for the side of Southern Mississippi.
The one thing I worry about is they're allowing lots of attack down towards the net. The one thing that isn't developing is good, solid shooting opportunities, but it is threatening very close again and again as that one's past Bad Apple, but just wide, touched away. Now follow up, looking for the dunk, doesn't find it. Thunderama looking for the double off the wall, gets this one to center. Circuit doesn't get to it first, and we continue to see big bump here. It's open net, just need to finish it. No one's there in time. All the way back the other way. Toxic just scrambles, and I can't even get a point out because these teams, they're getting lots of looks towards the net, but like I was saying earlier, not a lot of them developing into actual shooting opportunities. And I like the pressure, but we need to find a way to make it more effective. Let's look for some bumps and some demos on smart rotations through the mid, and then get good, accurate shots on net.
Yeah, these are always incredibly intense, and this is exactly why there's so many opportunities, so much pressure, and at some point it just has to crumble, and it seems as if BSU are struggling to keep that defense locked. They're letting their opponents break through way more than they should. It's just not really that great of a look. In BSU, they've actually only got 2 shots, even though they've really been the attacking-minded team on the offense. Circuit got bumped out of the way. Toxic is able to rip another shot, saved by Bad Apple. Circuit into the center once again, but then Bad Apple just breaks away. Thunderama, can he save that? No, he missed it. And the pressure. This just proves that pressure is not everything in Rocket League.
No, it always throws me for a little bit of a loop when a team can maintain so much offensive pressure and find themselves on the downside of the scoreboard. It's always interesting to me to see that happen because at the end of the day, usually pressure is what wins championships. The ability to continuously attack, to continuously maintain pressure. And speaking of pressure, Esper just off the post doesn't find that one in. But here, BSU, like you said, they're doing a great job keeping this one downfield. They're getting good looks towards the net. They're just not finishing it off. Here's an opportunity. 3 players required to clear that one away. Again, BSU just not getting there fast enough.
It seems as if BSU was sitting far back, not wanting the breakout to happen, but that is exactly how they're inviting that breakout. Now they've got 26 seconds left. They've got only a little bit of time remaining. This needs to be defended out, otherwise they can't forget this match. And Toxic with that miss might already have to forget this match because 15 seconds is not a lot to come back. You need a goal right now, and then after that you need a good kickoff. But currently it is still Somis in control of this ball, or at least BSU not fully in control. 15 in the midfield, and that is going to conclude this game. And BSU, they have had all the pressure, so promising start, but they need to get out more because Somis, as you see, will be the victors of this initial game. Looking good on the counter.
I think the one thing to note here is we saw BSU spend so much time down in the offensive end. They did a great job containing. They did a great job attacking that back wall. But just look at this stat line here. 3 shots on net. And I know Rocket League doesn't do a great job of counting what's actually a shot on net and what's not. 4 shots on net. But it does give you a good directional feel of who's getting an effective attack and who's not. If you should spend that much time attacking down in the offensive end and still be outshot by your opponents, that doesn't look good for how you're using those shooting opportunities, how you're taking advantage of the opportunities as they're presented. On the flip side, allowing a team that is just really getting those quick transition plays and not establishing that offensive rotation to score 4 times on 7 shots and outshoot you in the process, you need to find a way to disrupt that transition play and capitalize on opportunities as they present themselves.
Yeah, this is looking like something that we talked about the last series, where it's a great strategy to put the ball wide and let somebody else score it. They're going for this a lot, but then on repeat, they're not really getting further than the first step of putting it wide. Mm-hmm. And then the next one puts it wide as well. The other one puts it wide. That just keeps on happening continuously. So they need to have somebody who actually says, okay, I'm shooting this on target. We're getting this going. We're moving on. And we're going to make sure the pressure that we have just keeps on going on. We are able to convert that. They can't get too greedy. They need to be able to hold their defense strong as well, but we're going to have to see that in this second game. It is going to be a tough matchup for BSU. They need to regain themselves. They need to grab themselves by the bootstraps, pull them up, and get going in this matchup, and they definitely can do it. Toxic, 26 boost, trying to get that center. It's not really the greatest takeoff. He does get a touch past Bad Apple. Nothing wrong. Might be able to go for a solo, but it gets bumped in the process. Maybe it doesn't matter that much. For Circuit, it doesn't matter because he still comes from behind.
Wow, that's a great follow-up from BSU and a good way to start this one off. Esper getting the touch on Thunderama to take away that double touch opportunity, but Circuit makes a great read, a good quick upfield rotation to capitalize on that one and finish it off. And that's exactly what we asked for, capitalize. I'm sure you're sick of hearing it at this point, but until we see these teams do it consistently, we're going to keep saying it because that's what's going to be necessary to win these games here.
And Leighton, he's looking to capitalize on that opportunity as well. Toxic going into the center. Oh my word, Thunderama actually is there. Esper is completely prepared for it though. Thunderama, all he can do is go for a corner boost to a Circuit. Closes the distance on Esper. Toxic with a phenomenal challenge. Might be able to go into the offense. He can't beat Bad Apple, and that is good enough for Esper to get that ball out for now. But once again, the pressure is surmounting it. Oh my word, where was this the last game? This was an absolute boomer.
This is a gorgeous infield pass, a great read from Thunderama. Send that one over to Circuit, and they managed to do it with speed and aggression. They didn't just make a nice lofty pass across the mid. They didn't slow down, take their time, and now when they saw the transition opportunity, they took away that clear, and they finished it with authority.
Definite authority, and that's only a minute into this match. They weren't happy with that previous result. Well, the shooting man stepped up. Circuit, 2 shots, 2 goals, and Thunderama with both assists. And well, I guess Toxic, he will get a goal on the board for himself as well. I don't know what's happened here. Either Somas have just completely given everything up, or BSU are just another level right now.
Is a wildly different game than we saw in game number 1. With BSU, they finally started to click. They finally found a way to make this work together, and now they're finishing it off.
Surkey's trying to finish that one off. Leighton gets in the way of it, though. Thunderama onto the side. Going to bounce off the backboard. I don't know whether anybody noticed, but Thunderama did get that corner boost, though. It doesn't really matter if you still concede on the counter-attack. The Circuit gets past one. Thunderama reinforcing him from behind. Circuit once again gets past one. Not really the greatest touch coming out from Thunderama. The Toxic goes to the backboard. Leighton gets the clear out. And it's looking as if Somis are able to regain themselves a little bit and calm this game down.
The one thing they haven't been able to do, though, is establish an offensive pressure and offensive rotation. They've got 1 shot on net to the 5 in favor. Now 6 in favor of BSU, leading to 4 goals. This is less than 2 minutes into this game. They're already up by 4. That's plenty of time to get it back the other way. Obviously, 4 goals in less than 2 minutes is possible. But with the way they're just getting outclassed right now by Boise State, they need to find a way to disrupt that. And I hate to be a broken record, but go back, get some of those bumps, get some of those demos, and try to take advantage of disrupting this team play and the speed and consistency we're seeing right now out of Boise State.
Yeah, especially because the last game, we already saw some inconsistencies in the defense. Letting through a lot of counterattacks. Toxic, he probably won't be able to get much further because he has 0 boost in the tank. Still got relatively far. Circuit, he also doesn't have a lot of boost. I don't think the surmounting pressure will come this time, since the boost is very much lacking. Indeed, Bad Apple, he's cutting a lot of time. But does he use that time? No, not at all. It's Circuit going into the corner, into the center, where Thunderama will be waiting. Doesn't manage to get in to get a shot off. Esper actually wears the entire defense. Toxic comes in from behind and gets that one into his own corner. This is looking a little bit scary for BSU. They need to keep that defense locked tight.
And they've done such a great job up to this point of getting that ball clear, not allowing opportunities to develop. And now we're seeing Somis finally sign some offensive pressure to just still struggle to get the ball effectively towards the net. They've only picked up 1 more shot on goal, and they're still not finding a way to sneak it past this defense. I'd like to see them get to this ball a little bit quicker in the offensive end. Just because you're not getting your net threatened doesn't mean you have time to sit and wait on it.
And needs to always keep up that speed. Speed is a pivotal part of Rocket League, and Esper, he was trying to go a little bit too speedy there, missing the ball completely in the process. Esper on the sidewall. What can he do? He can get a 50 with Thunderama. Toxic, he's trying to stay underneath, but that's not really the greatest positioning, because usually you'll be beat by your opponents. You don't really know whether you're getting beat. So you're basically just jumping in blind. Leighton, that's into Bad Apple. They need to get a goal going relatively soon, because 4 goals in 1.5 minutes is already a tough enough task. Obviously, if that is a tough task, the further the clock ticks down, the tougher the task is going to be. Also not able to convert on this position. The Circuit goes to the backboard. They might be able to convert this one. Toxic has a complete open net, puts in the 5-0, and that might just seal the deal.
That's going to be very tough for Somis to make a comeback here. They've been allowing this first with that offensive pressure, BSU being able to find good quick rotations in the offensive end, attack that backboard, and get follow-up shots. And also allowing them to hit those transition plays means you can really be attacked from anywhere on the field. It's dangerous territory. You need to shut that down.
Especially looking at the previous game, it was a little bit of a mismatch from BSU. They weren't able to get going, but now they're going, and that must be scary for Somis. They're also looking at that previous game thinking, oh my word, we destroyed them. What a bump coming on there against Leighton. They should still be able to convert, and indeed they are. Esper puts that one in, gets credited with it, but Leighton, he had a completely open net wanting to turn in, just got bumped out of the way.
This is what we asked for out of Somis. Get disruptive, get quick follow-up attacks, demo the defenders, disrupt their defense, and punish them for it. Great job finishing that one off, but 40 seconds to go, 4 goals down. That's going to be very difficult to finish off. The good news is if they can pick up 1 more goal here, without getting scored on. They carry good momentum into game number 3 and can hopefully set themselves up on match point.
It's always tough to remain or retain that momentum. You really have to keep in that same flow, and sometimes your opponents are just able to break through, and then you're kind of wondering by yourself as well, how do we now lose this one all of a sudden? What happened after the previous one? What are we doing wrong? Thunderama, a slight inaccuracy. It doesn't really matter that much if you're up 5-1. Circus should be able to score that at the 1 second mark, so we will have another kickoff. Obviously, it's not going to matter at all. Maybe the Brazil, though.
Yeah, this is a absolute dagger in the heart for So Miss, being able to push that last goal in there, and any kind of momentum they had built up with that one goal at about the 42nd mark on, it's dead, and there's a shooting opportunity almost for the Brazil, but they don't quite find it. Now we're 1-1 in the series. This is as close as we've seen it yet here tonight, and it comes on kind of an interesting mix here. So Miss able to just kind of walk on BSU through game number 1, did a good job getting pressure in the transition, getting good effective shots on net, and out shooting BSU despite spending more time on the defensive back foot. Now here, flipping the table a little bit, BSU gets better offensive pressure downfield and is more effective through the transition. They made beautiful pass plays upfield. I think that's the big note here, is that pass play, that passing game through the midfield is so effective. If you can accurately find your teammates like that, you're doing a great job. So Miss, on the other hand, struggling a little bit to find those connections, managing their spacing, and get effective challenges.
And we're going to have to see how they will be able to come out in that third game. For me, it's already phenomenal. This is, as you said, the first time this evening that it goes longer than 3 games, for sure. We don't have to wait for that final game to potentially see a comeback happening. No, we've got more than 3 games of Rocket League, everyone. Phenomenal stuff coming in already on that department, on content department. They still need to prove themselves. We've kind of seen one-sided matchups where it was So Miss in the first one and Boise in the second one. And now I really want to see them combine the powers and just clash at full force. It kind of when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. I want to see that happen.
Um, I have to do this because I'm a huge nerd, but fun fact, those are actually
It's
the
the same
same
thing.
thing. An
Mm-hmm.
unstoppable force and an immovable object are the exact same thing. But I also know the answer. What happens when they meet? Nothing. But that's not what we have for you here. We have more Rocket League action in just a second here. We're doing a little bit of a server reset. So I'm going to take advantage of the moment that we have here to go ahead and let you know about Meta Pro Gaming. Meta Pro Gaming is a full-service esports management, developmental, and consulting company. Meta provides esports coaching, college esports management, arena design, and equipment. Visit them at metaprogaming.gg to learn more. Perfect for us here in this collegiate esports scene. And maybe something some of these teams can take advantage of going forward, because it's been a little bit rough tonight. We've seen a couple of sweeps, a couple of rough matchups, and these teams, I think it's a team cohesion issue. They got to spend more time working together and figuring out where they are on the field. I think that's the biggest thing, is if you know not just where you are on the field, but where your teammates are on the field, you can do a much better job of committing to plays, playing faster, playing more decisively without getting those double commits and without having to calm everything. And that's huge. If you can shorten that decision loop by having good chemistry with your team, it makes an enormous difference in your gameplay.
Oh my word. Till the end of that, I was trying to figure out whether it was an ad lib or are you talking about the game coming up? I thought HyperX was going to come. Oh, no, but very, very true. Yeah, you need to make sure that you have the best connection and then just you can work with your team into perfection. You know where your team is going to be and you know what to expect from your team as well. If you're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, no, my teammate, he'll score that double tap, I'll just leave to the side already, I'll have a great time sitting at the corner booths because that's what I like to do after a goal gets scored. Well, chances that he misses it and then you're not there putting the entire rotation in an awkward position. So you really need to manage your expectations perfectly to what you can do and what your opponents can do and your teammates, and that is a lot easier when you have comms. You can early on say, oh, I'm missing, but now game number 3 is on the board. Toxic and Leighton will kick us off with 5 minutes on the clock.
Well, we are even in the series. This is going to be a critical one, setting up a team on match point. We have great momentum in favor of Boise State. Did that little bit of extra time go to the advantage of So Miss? And so far, it does not. 13 seconds in, and Thunderama from their own backboard finds that one all the way downfield.
Yeah, I guess their name is a little bit on point here. So missed the ball, because that was not a great show from, I think it was Esper who completely whiffed there. It's an unfortunate scene, an unfortunate start. Toxic trying to get the angle. Bad Apple was back in net, not really in a position to save a banger coming on. Bad Apple, he's actually trying to go the other way. Easy save by Circuit. It's a very routine save. But can they keep it out as well? Can they make sure that this pressure doesn't come on? Because that is something that we need to see out from SoMiss. Their opponents have been able to do that perfectly. Now we also need to see from their opponents Circuit going to the backboard. Oh my word, double miss coming in. Toxic trying to pass it to Circuit. He was a little bit too far up.
The thing I'm seeing here is we're not keeping the ball close on either side, and threes is a game mode very much so about speed and speed management. You can spend a lot of time flying around the field being aggressive, and that's exactly what you need in the threes game mode. But when you have space and time like Circuit does here, slow down. That's a great little soft touch. Thunderama to the mid, bounces that in, and then Circuit, you can see them take it off the wheels and just touch that one softly into the net. The rubber of those wheels getting that nice and cradled down in the net. And there you go. Speed and speed management. That finds number 2 in favor of Boise State.
And Bad Apple, he was actually somewhat prepared for that as well. He was sitting back a little bit with Thunderama. Oh my word, this is looking like the same Boise that we saw in the previous one. Just absolute dominance, and very early on as well, getting a 3-goal lead. This is not looking good for SoMiss. Their confidence has kind of crumbled, and their defense, something that kept so strong in that first game, is now crumbling as well.
SoMiss needs to get this one back under control. You hear me talk a lot about 90 seconds. Let's talk about 90 seconds here. Less than 90 seconds in. We got 4 goals. That's a great little upfield play. Leighton picks up the boost and recognizes this momentum shift. And Esper leading out front for that bump demo attempt to get that ball clear. And you don't even have to touch the defensive player in that situation. Just that presence can be enough to disrupt that defensive effort, as you see here, to get the first goal for SoMiss in this game number 3.
And that's exactly where the communication comes in as well. Esper, I thought he would go for the shot, but he probably come, hey, no, I'm going for a bump. Thus, his teammate knew, okay, I need to actually shoot this on target. Leighton did that perfectly and brings one back. Leighton now going off the ceiling as well. Toxic is there first. We'll be able to get a massive boom and clear out. Pick up the 100 pad, continue this offense. Bad Apple, that is a terrible clear out. And then, well, Circuit, he's sitting far back, and the touch on the offense wasn't too great either. Leighton with a macro touch back into his teammate. Can they manage to keep this one going? Bad Apple is putting that to the backboard. Leighton can take a shot. It's going to bounce up perfectly for Esper. Tries to go for the shot, hits it with his belly button. That is going to be too weak. Saved by Thunderama. The pressure coming in is a lot better right now.
Something I like to see out of both these teams is that midfield challenge play. Both these teams have not been shy about meeting that ball at the midfield and not allowing the other team to just get a quick transition. Quick shot down in the corner for Toxic, touched away by Leighton. But every once in a while, it does find its way free, and then it becomes a challenge the other way of beating that midfield. And you see right there, they're even looking for it in that quick transition play there with a little bit more space. And it's exactly what you need if you want to establish dominance. One thing I would like to see is one of these teams be just a little bit more consistent in that contain, that control.
Yeah, it's really been a back and forth pretty much the entire time. Circuit be able to break away off of a great pass from Thunderama, and that's the 4-1. Well, is that early massive dominance didn't come in from Boise? We would look at a tied game here, but SoMiss, they just need to look it up from the start. Obviously, that statement is it's full of fallacies and misreasoning that, oh yeah, we didn't have the first minute and a half of the game, it would be a tie game. Well, yeah, obviously, but that was also a part of the game, and that's something that they need to work on. Come out of the gates shooting.
Well, you mentioned the first minute and a half. I want to mention the last minute and a half. This is something I talk about a lot when it comes to the psychology of how this game is played. Center pass for Toxic. Doesn't find it. That 90-second mark to me is a magical mark. You have control of the game at the 90-second mark. It puts so much pressure on your opponent. It really secures the game for you. Is it possible for a team to come back? Yeah, it is. That's an unfortunate own. Was that an own goal, or did Toxic just get a great read across the mid there?
That was very much an own goal. That was off target and bad apple. Well, he's certainly a bad apple in this one, scoring that into the back of his own net. Obviously the wrong way, having a little bit of momentarily color blindness. We hope he recovers very soon and doesn't score any more own goals, because that now puts his team in a terrible position.
Well, you know what they say, a bad apple spoils the bunch, and unfortunately here, it could be the spoiler in their attempt at a comeback here. But like I was saying, 90 seconds, it's one thing to be up by 1 goal at 90 seconds, but you don't really have control. What we've seen here is Boise State has been up by 3, 4, maybe even 5 goals in that last game at that 90-second mark, and it just leads to so much mental pressure on the back end that it's very, very difficult for all but the coolest of cucumbers to make a comeback.
And this comeback is going to be incredibly hard. The series comeback definitely still doable. It's going to be one hell of a task for them to come up against. That's always something you want to prove yourself, and this is the moment to do it. If you can come back at least a little bit in this game, that is something I'm a firm believer in. If you end the game well, you're going to put yourself in a great position for the rest of the game. Toxic, he just allows Circuit to try and go for the shot. I don't really know the decision making, and maybe that's why too, because Circuit will score it.
Because Circuit can pick corners just beautifully, finding one of the very, very few spots, one of 2 spots you can put that ball and end with a goal. That is a gorgeous little touch in the back direction. And when you have confidence in your teammate, like we were talking about kind of in the intermission, is knowing your teammates, also calming with your teammates, having the confidence in their ability to effectively execute, like we saw between Toxic and Circuit there, allows you to be confident in your positioning and what you're doing. And that is another one now to the Brazil scoreline for Circuit. Wow.
I thought the Sam Major was last week, and now it seems as if a lot of Brazils are coming out. This is ridiculous. What is this, like the 3rd one of this evening or something? I don't know what's going on, but it seems to be very dominant performances, and maybe that game was just a one-off. I'm not too sure, but Circuit, he's been playing phenomenal. He's got 100% goal involvement rate, 4 goals, 3 assists for him on the board. Great stuff coming out, and now it's really up to SOMIS to come back and regather themselves. They need to start blooming again, need to get stuff going, because that is not working out for them. It's not even necessarily that they're massively lagging on shots. We see 9 shots, 7 goals for BSU, 4 shots and 1 goal for SOMIS. So yes, they have less shots, but the conversion rate also isn't the same.
Yeah, this is BSU. 7 goals on 9 shots. Absolutely deadly when they get that ball into a shooting position. They've done such a great job of finishing those opportunities. We've seen them be physical. We've seen them make passes. We've seen them make team plays. They had a rocky start. They finally tuned up. They have locked in. It is now, like you said, this is entirely on SOMIS. BSU has control. They've used the same play style through 2 games now, and we see this a lot in different series. When you have longer series, is you see teams develop their gameplay and how they're attacking the ball, how they're challenging their opponents, just change and shift over time. And right now, we're not seeing that out of SOMIS. SOMIS able to walk that transition game through game number 1. BSU says, hey, we can do it, and we can do it better. Now it's your turn. Ball's in your court, and you've only got 1 game to figure it out.
Yeah, if you lose this one, you're obviously at a loss in the second week as well. You don't want to have that. You don't want to have another loss if you're SOMIS. If they go off of last week, we will see another game at least being played for them, but they need to get 2 in a row if they want to win this one. This is a decent start. Esper had an opportunity, but now Leighton, he can't miss this one. He can't have another bad start. It was off the bar. Bad Apple, he missed that one. Oh, Esper is back for the save. Bad Apple trying to extend that one. Not really enough boost to try and go for a solo play. Thus, he won't. Esper with a decent challenge on the side wall. Leighton, what can he do with that one? He can get it out to the side, but only as far as Thunderama, who's just waiting there.
Well, we're seeing some good contained play here. Out of... Oh, no. That is absolutely heartbreaking for So Miss. They controlled the first 33 seconds of this game. They did such an excellent job keeping their shooting lane clear, getting pressure downfield, being aggressive, getting attacks on the opponent's net, and then just 150 shuts it all down. Now, fellow caster Leachy, who I think you'll be hearing from later tonight, he loves to say game 4 is where you see what teams are made of. And it's really going to be true here for So Miss. Can they have the mental fortitude to not only come back from being down in the series, but come back from that heartbreaking momentum killer at the start of this game?
Yeah, it's at least easier to say, oh yeah, no, that was just an unfortunate 50, but this is not going to be an unfortunate 50. It's just a shot from Thunderama. Circuit, he's in an awkward position. Good touch out to the side, though. He's able to follow that one up, and Circuit, he's really running around the entire side of So Miss. He just outplayed 3 defenders on defense right there to break out, and sometimes you just need that solo player to give your team a lot of space. Toxic, he got beat by his opponent. Esper has an opportunity. Shot on target. Circuit with a save, though. Bad Apple has another opportunity. That shot is way too weak. Allows it to pass it into Thunderama, and then the long shot. Esper makes the save, and the 1-goal lead remains intact.
Circuit right now feels absolutely comfortable. They don't feel pressured at all. Everything they do feels like they have all of the confidence in the world. That's always interesting to me as a caster, watching players and teams and just being able to just get that general sense as Thunderama over the top. And now we're slowing down the scoring pace of Boise, but we haven't shut it off. So Miss needs to hit that faucet and flip on the other one and get back the other way.
Honestly, they just need a goal going for them, especially because, first of all, that goes the lead in half. Second of all, that gives them a little bit of confidence. Bad Apple has an opportunity to do so here. Circuit obviously is in the way. He's honestly such a phenomenal player on the side of BSU. He's really having the team on his back here a little bit and carrying them to a certain extent. Leighton, he's looking to do the exact same, trying to create an opportunity to Thunderama into Circuit. It's a shot. It's not a good shot, and it will be saved by Esper. Please tell me this is going to be saved. Oh no, it's not. This is also not a great showing.
That is a yike. Unfortunately, Leighton misflips here, and Bad Apple off the post. Can't get behind that ball. Allows that slow roller in, but it goes to something else that I like to talk about here, and that is clearing the shooting lane. It's not enough to stop the shot. It's not enough to get the save. If you leave the ball in the shooting lane, especially in threes, especially with teams like this, you're going to get punished for it. We see this here. They got the touch off the back wall. They took away that initial shooting opportunity, but left it for Thunderama to finish off and left their teammates in an awkward spot. Unfortunately for So Miss, now more than half the game gone. This is match point in favor of Boise State, and they're down by 3. I hate to say it, but I think as far as we're going touchy-feely, this is how I feel things are. If So Miss doesn't get a goal in the next 45 seconds or so, this could be over.
I like how you're still kind of sticking with that 90-second indicator. Just cutting it in half because they don't have a lot of time. And Leighton, you don't want to side flip on the shot that you have. It was such a great opportunity to try and get one back here. Esper trying to get that into the center. Bad Apple did a little bit of a 360. He's not really going to help him, though. Circuit was still able to clear that out. Esper once again with an opportunity. Saved by Thunderama, but that was a double commit. Triple commit coming in. They can do it better. They can go from a double to a triple. They can't really manage to break out because of that. And Circuit gets into the center, but that was a very good challenge. Thunderama gets someone out, and that should not have been allowed. They went from a double commit into a triple commit. You should be able to break out after that.
Hyferia, this is how you're going to win RLCS, all right? When you're triple committing, that's not a bad thing. That just means your team is on so much of the same page you have such great cohesion, you're just gonna walk through RLCS. I'm kidding, of course. You never want to have 3 players committing at the same time, but at this point, it feels like it doesn't even matter. Boise can commit any kind of Rocket League sacrilege, Rocket League positioning crime, and they're just not getting punished for it back the other way. They're getting shots on net.
And they're getting shots on net. Not really converting that much, but they don't need to. They're 3 goals up, 35 seconds remaining. Bad Apple needs to break away, needs to get out. And Circuit, you never want to see him up against you when he's in a shadowing position, because he's been doing so phenomenal defense, keeping you out of there. And then also in the attack, he's just been a powerhouse throughout this matchup. Not only in this match, but just throughout the entire series. And with 15 seconds left, I think all they can hope for is another goal on the board and not concede this one. So they will try one last time to go down the other end. Toxic stops that dead in its tracks, and this is going to be the game. As soon as it drops to the ground, that will be Boise State winning this one after a weak first game performance, managing to run through their opponents.
Yeah, it felt like Boise didn't turn on their monitors until game number 2, and they just absolutely walked away with it. SoMiss kind of fell apart throughout the rest of this series. They had something that was working. Boise State did exactly what they needed to do. They adapted, they overcame, and threw it right back in the face of SoMiss. And SoMiss didn't have any more tricks up their sleeve. They were a one-trick pony throughout game number 1. That's not to say maybe this is just an off night for them. Maybe they're capable of more. But from what we see here, up against Boise State, that was all they had, and they got beat.
Yeah, sometimes you just have a game where you're, as a team, not really feeling it the way that you should be. You're not really managing to get going, and well, it showed. But the good thing about that is they're able to regain next week potentially. We're gonna have to see though, because obviously that is this week's match for them done. A 1-2-3 loss on the side of SoMiss. And really needs to be able to get something going. It kind of being on defense the entire time in the first game, that puts you in a bad position. And it can work out for the first game because your opponent doesn't really have their shooting on. But as soon as they realize, hey, no, look, we've got enough time to shoot. So just take your time with shooting, put it in a good place, and don't try and go as speedy because we beat them on that speed. And that's exactly what happened. It worked for the first game, then they got torn apart.
Yeah, and something to mention, I talked a little bit about like the psychology of Rocket League and how that kind of plays into how these games turn out. You mentioned that they spent the entire first game in the defensive end. Yes, they walked away with a victory, taking advantage of those transition plays, out shooting them, more effective when it came to actually attacking the net than Boise State. But one of the things that happens when you're in the defensive end and you spend so much time defending your net, it's mentally draining. It wears you out. And even if you get away with it, you're just tired going into the next series, and it's a very real effect going forward. But the thing I want to know is, does Circuit use HyperX products or Respawn products? What are those, you may ask, if you don't already know? First of all, where have you been? You see them everywhere, and with good reason. Respawn products are forged for all-day comfort. Content creators, professional and casual players, or anyone looking to upgrade their setup. Respawn has been battle-tested and achieves a level of comfort that leaves competitors in the dust. Live to play another day with Respawn, your battle-ready partner. And HyperX, mentioned it earlier, I could use a lot of HyperX myself. My tech issues here. The HyperX mission has been to develop gaming products for all types of gamers. High-speed memory, solid-state drives, headsets, keyboards, mice, charging accessories for console players, USB flash drives, and mouse pads. More important than you think. To the gaming community and beyond, HyperX gear is a choice of celebrity ambassadors, pro gamers, tech enthusiasts, and overclockers worldwide because it meets the most stringent product specifications and is built with best-in-class components. HyperX, I don't know, maybe the advantage for Circuit. Only one way to find out. That's going to be to ask the man himself.
Indeed, yeah. So sometimes your products, I used to play CSGO back in the day, and there'd just be somebody spinning around like this, headshotting me every single time, and it'd be like, yeah, no, I have a pro gaming chair or whatever. For example, Respawn. Whether that's a true thing, whether it gives you extra gaming ability, can't confirm, but it at least helps you sit comfortably. And obviously, sometimes you want to sit comfortably in another environment as well, potentially with your friends or whatever, and that's where Helix is a great opportunity. Helix Esports offers world-class gaming and virtual reality experiences at state-of-the-art esports centers throughout the United States. Helix Esports delivers a professional esports experience to everyone, whether gamers choose to play, practice, and socialize with friends, or compete at the highest level. Helix Esports is the premier destination for gamers. Follow Helix Esports today at Helix Esports USA. And it seems every time I finish with Helix Esports, the candidate comes in and Circuit. I guess we're just gonna get this right off the bat. What headset do you have?
I'm actually on a different headset. We're in the East, so I'm just using whatever headset they happen to have.
Fair.
Well, what's your normal? I guess we're trying to push to find out how you've used HyperX products to get an advantage over your opponents. But speaking of advantages over your opponents, wonderful series. I think even when you weren't in the offensive end, 1 assist and 0 goals in that last game, 4 saves, showing up big. What was the key to that victory over SoMiss?
Oh, the key was definitely our team was just connecting with each other on the passes. We were really trying to focus on making sure we hit each other with those passes so that we can, especially getting out of defense, passing to clear.
Yeah, you guys did an excellent job in the transitions, finding those upfield passes through the midfield, which is so critical, not going to those walls and keeping that ball centered in front of the net in the shooting lane. One of the things we saw was in game number 1, you guys spent a lot of time attacking SoMiss down in the offensive end, but you only managed 3 shots on net and got beat in the transitions and outshot by SoMiss. Through game number 1, what was kind of the breakdown that allowed SoMiss to walk away with the victory there?
We just needed to get ourselves to just relax and play our game that we know how to play. We were definitely kind of stressed from being in a new environment, and yeah.
Well, I have one last question, Circuit, and that is if you had to nominate an MVP from your team, yourself included, who do you think it would be?
Definitely Thunder. He really had those passes on point for helping us out. So definitely Thunderama.
Well,
Fair. With that first game, you said that you needed to fix something. Do you guys really have the opportunity to just talk to each other without like it coming across as toxic or whatever, or like getting on each other's nerves or whatever? Just to say like, hey, for example, Thunder, the passes were almost connecting. Could you try a little bit more, or yeah, can they be a little bit better? Do you guys have that good friendship, I guess?
Yeah, we're a very open team with each other. We're like actually friends, so it's very easy to have those conversations and get ourselves out of any issues that we have.
Yeah, friendship is the way to victory at all times, obviously. Do you guys like how much do you practice for just circuits in general? Do you guys try and play together every single day? Obviously you're friends, so you probably hang out as well. But how much is Rocket League on the agenda?
We try to get in quite often. We're obviously college students, so classes and exams and stuff get in the way, but we do try to get on and play at least like as much as we can. Yeah.
Always got to have more than enough practice to make sure you do the best. And now you're 2-0 up in the league. Phenomenal start from you guys. So I'm gonna let you go and celebrate that win for tonight. And unless Lars is like, hey, no, I wanna ask you some more questions, but he did already say that was his last one. You know, once again, congratulations, Circuit. Hopes to definitely see you back on the play once again and potentially speak to you again. For now, have a good one.
Thank you.
Obviously, that was a Circuit from Boise State. Before we head into a tiny little break, obviously, as I said, somehow they always manage to come in after Helix. Then You might know the riddle by now. We've got ESTV coming up. ESTV is the first ever dedicated channel for esports and gaming personalities. The first channel devoted 24/7 esports coverage can be found on a number of OTT platforms, including the Roku channel, Amazon Fire TV, Samsung TV Plus, not throw me for a loop this time, Sling TV, and Vizio Free Watch. ESTV partners with the top world's gaming communities and production partners for the most robust esports content lineups on linear, online, and mobile. For more information, because obviously I can't say it all, please visit www.estv.co. And with that, we will be heading into a tiny little break. And after the break, we unfortunately won't be there. That doesn't mean the quality will go down. It will still be a phenomenal series, a phenomenal production being put together. But for now, we're going to head into a little break. We will see you afterwards.